paper clutch, and I wanted to talk about what I pack in my travel bag. This bag is something that a friend gave me a long time ago. It's pretty small. It's a 9x12 bag. You're supposed to probably put makeup in it, but I put my art supplies in it. That's what I do. And I just want to show you guys what I pack when I'm going to be traveling, okay? I want to keep it small because nobody wants to take a whole bunch of stuff when you're traveling. So this is everything I need will fit right into this bag. So let me show you what I have. First, a sketchbook. This is the current sketchbook that I'm using. It's a Stillman & Burn. It's a good size. It fits in your purse. It's perfect. So it's so far so good. It's a mixed media journal, so I can do all the things in it and you know, as I said before, you know, mixed media is the way I go, or a really thick watercolor cold press. I kind of like those too. Also, I take extra watercolor paper. The reason why I take the extra watercolor paper is because I might want to paint on the watercolor paper and not in my sketchbook. And number two, when you have kids coming with you, they're gonna want to paint. Trust me on this. So you cannot keep your sketchbook to yourself if you don't have extra paper. So make sure you bring extra paper, especially if kids are involved in your trip. End of story. Next thing I'm gonna tell you about is a paper towel. You're like, what? Well, you might be painting somewhere and you don't have a paper towel. I use my fingers a lot, but that's because I'm in my studio and I have like a towel or my pants to wipe it on. So this is just something to keep in there so you have one when you need one, because eventually you might need one. The next thing that I have is, of course, my eraser. This is my 3-try eraser from General, I believe is what I found out what the name was. It's my favorite. I always have an eraser, and you might wonder why. Why do I need an eraser when I have pencils? Because your pencils are going to look like this eventually. If you erase as much as I do, that's how all my pencils look. But make sure you grab a couple of pencils to pack in your bag. Sometimes I'll put also a mechanical pencil in there because if this breaks, and I have an eraser, but not an eraser, a sharpener. I have a sharpener, and if you know, these work okay, but sometimes they'll break up your pencil even more. So mechanical is okay too if you need just a quick sketch. Most important thing, of course, is your paint. So I like the Missions paint, okay? Missions paint comes in a really big palette. This is not gonna fit in my little sweet travel bag. So what I have done is I have a smaller palette that I bought. This one, you can get one at Hobby Lobby. I'll link up to for the one that I got on Amazon if you want it. And I can just take my tubed watercolors, just the ones that I like, because y'all know I'm a big fan of hot pink. So I put all the colors that I like in here, and then I can use that. The best part about the tube watercolors is that they're gonna dry and you're gonna reactivate them with water. So they travel really, really well. You'll also see there are some travel palettes that you can buy. I'll show you one that I have. This is a Jerry O palette. I took it to Africa, and it actually even has like a little water thing, and there was a brush. I don't know what happened to the brush, but this one wasn't my favorite. It really wasn't, so I don't really use it. But if you like a palette, sure, this one's pretty decent. When you have paints, you also need something to paint with, so I typically bring 3 brush sizes. I have my favorite, which is not this one. My favorite, which is the number 4, and also a number 8. Also, sometimes I'll throw in, which I rarely use, but it's nice to have just in case. This is a number 2. It's not a very good number 2. You can see it all spriggy. But in case you needed some really fine detail, this is a 2, 4, and an 8 paintbrush. Last but not least, I always have pens. So I always talk about my La Pen pen. Those are my favorite black pens. I bet they have color, but honestly, I haven't checked on that. I'm typically a very basic when it comes to things. I do black and I do white when it comes to outlining. Now, the white, I love ink, but ink does not travel well. So, if you grew up in the 80s or the 90s, you should know about the Jelly Roll pen. This works really well. You can draw over your paintings with a Jelly Roll pen. It's very awesome. So that's about it. So all you need is a bag to put it in, a sketchbook, your paints, your pencil, your pens, an eraser, and of course some paint. So I will put all of the things that I have mentioned here in the description. Check it out. Happy traveling, guys. All right, guys, what are we supposed to tell them to do?
Make sure you like and subscribe.